lastly, we have Network as a Service, or NaaS. Now, Network as a Service is going to provide with essentially an off-site network, where all we need in our office, all we need in our headquarters is just essentially a computer, a link to our internet service provider, and Network as a Service, NaaS. Now, Network as a Service is going to be in another company, another outsourced provider that's going to host our applications, data, servers, products, everything. It's our entire network as a service. Now, the pros of hosting that off to somebody else is that we have less in-house management. If we're a small shop and we don't want to manage all of our servers and data and DMZ and firewall and everything and our web server and everything, then we may want to just pass that on to someone else. We may say, okay, we're going to save costs, we're going to stay a small shop, but we still want to provide a very professional looking product, a very professional looking website, good data backups, a good location where all our employees can connect in and make these pass on these purchases and process applications, whichever we're doing, whatever our shop is doing. Or maybe our employees are dispersed all over the United States. Maybe we have multiple employees, but they all work from home. And we don't really have one central location where we have all of our data going and backing up. And we don't have a large data center where we're keeping all of our data and keeping our web servers. So instead, we just use Network as a Service, and then all of our employees connect into that. So it provides us with less management. Now, that can be a good and a bad thing. We may have less hands-on control, but less management also means there's less that we really have to worry about. If something goes wrong, then all we have to do is call up our NaaS provider and say, hey, this is your responsibility. We're paying you either pay per usage or paying per month or per year, and you need to fix this because it's part of our contract. So there's less actual management that you have to do and say, okay, well, I need to tell this person, I need to tell this manager to tell the person in this IT department to work on the server here, and if they can't fix it, we may need to bring in a consultant to try to fix it. That's all the responsibility of the NaaS provider. You just call them up and say it's not working, and they're supposed to fix it per your contract agreements. We also have increased business continuity and backups, especially if we have a large NaaS provider. We're not talking about just a small IT company that is a single business, a single physical location that's providing us our network as a service. If we're hosting and contacting a large organization to be our network as a service that has multiple sites and multiple failovers, then if our location gets flooded or power goes out, and even one of their locations gets flooded or the power goes out, then they may have another location where they just fail everything over to. So we have additional business continuity, and we also have those backups. So we may have off-site data backups, so even if our location burns down, all these horrible things that can happen, then that data is still good because there's multiple backup sites that it may be backed up to as our network as a service. Another pro is that it's going to provide us with scalable resources and powerful resources for less upfront cost than it would cost us. Our network as a service provider already has the data center. They already have the backbone and they have the servers. So when we need to use those servers and we need to use these powerful applications to run applications or compile data or provide a service to users, we don't have to go out and buy a $10,000 server cluster in order to perform these high computing powers. All we would have to do is utilize this network as a service, say, okay, I need a bit more computing power for the next 2 hours. And then they provide us with that additional computing power, and it's pennies on the dollar for what it costs us. All they're paying for at this point is the electricity, the cooling, the staff, and and maintenance of the hardware. They've already bought all the hardware. So it's more powerful resources for us, and it costs less money because we only need those powerful resources for a little bit of time. If we need those powerful resources all the time, then we may want to reevaluate if we want to use in-house, on-site servers, or if we want to actually utilize network as a service. So we have to evaluate all of our environment. And scalable. So if we're a shop that provides a service provides lawn service and raking and different yard work and all around the country. and we have small offices all over the country, and then one small headquarters office. So we use NaaS in order to manage all the data from all of our different offices, and all our different offices need is computers, an internet service provider, and a connection to NaaS. Then we may have a lot more business in the springtime, late summer, and then around the fall, and then winter time, and then during some of the hot parts of the summer or during certain times of year, we have less business. We have less people saving data to the servers. We have less people trying to visit our website and make appointments. So we tell our NaaS provider, okay, this month I know I'm going to use less, so I want you to scale it down. Or maybe our NaaS provider does pay per usage. Maybe they take the amount of bandwidth that our customers are pushing to our servers, they take the amount of data that we're using and saving and accessing throughout the month, and they say, okay, this month you used $500 worth of our service. So they charge our company $500 for this service. But for us to install servers and a web server and data backups all across all of our locations all over the country, and to pay a full-time IT staff to manage all of those would be a lot more expensive than what we just paid to our NaaS provider. So the scalability of a NaaS service is very powerful. It's a very useful tool when we're trying to manage how much we're paying for our service. Our local in-house servers cost the same every month, no matter what. NaaS services can change. We can scale that. Now we have the cons. Now the downsides to our network as a service is we're going to have less control, and we may even have security concerns. If we're hosting extremely sensitive data, say we're not a lawn care provider, maybe we're a dental office, or maybe we are a small private doctor's office. Well, we may need to host that data locally because of regulations that state that we keep those medical records secure. We may not be allowed to, or we may not even want to trust our patient data with a network as a service provider because we're concerned about patient confidentiality. So those security concerns do come into play, because we don't necessarily want a patient, if we have our doctors saving patient records to our servers, we want those servers to be in-house. We want our technicians to be able to secure those servers, encrypt those files, and not be sending those files over the internet, because it increases the attack surface for people potentially trying to steal those records, or even employees of the NaaS service potentially trying to look at those records. So we need to take control and security concerns into account. And it does cost. So say we're a very, very small firm. Then we may not want to utilize network as a service, because the month-to-month rates, just the base rates of $200 a month plus additional usage fees, may be too much for us. So we may want to just utilize our own in-house options. And then there's connectivity issues. With network as a service, if our internet service provider data goes out, then our connection to our NaaS provider goes out as well. We can't access our local data. We can't access our customer data. So even if someone comes in and says, hey, I need to access my appointments, I need to view my records, then we say, well, we can't, because our internet service provider connection is down, our NaaS provider is down, so we can't access that data. If we have our own in-house servers, even if our internet connection's down, we still are able to access our local data because we have that saved locally. So those connectivity issues also come into play when we're evaluating if we want to host our own or if we want to use network as a service. So we have our example of our NaaS setup here. We have our headquarters office, we have our buyer, and we have our network as a service. So all that we need for our headquarters office, or all that we would need for additional field offices, is a connection to the internet and a computer. So we have our field office as well. So all we need in order to save data to servers, in order to run our applications, in order to run our web servers, in order to do everything that we would need for our network, is have computers and an internet connection. Everything else is hosted by our network as a service. They may host our VPN capabilities. They may manage that, and they may host our field offices trying to VPN into our headquarters when they're actually VPNing and connecting to our local data here at the NaaS. They may manage our web server. They may save our data backups and all of our applications and everything that we host for our customers. So they're hosting everything. They're hosting our entire network. Aside from our simple internet connection, they manage everything else. And our NaaS doesn't just provide that for us. They have multiple other companies on their other servers in their data center that they're also managing. That's why they're able to do everything for a lot cheaper than we would be able to do it, because they're already hosting the huge data centers. And when you buy in bulk, you're going to get discounts. So if we bought one server, then we'd be paying maybe $2,000 to $3,000 for that one server. But if our network as a service provider buys servers that are 5 times as powerful, and they buy 50 of those servers that are 5 times as powerful, then they may not be paying $15,000 a server. They may only be paying $10,000 per server for a server that's 5 times as powerful as our $3,000 server. They're getting 3 times. They're getting 3 times the power for just a little bit more or they're getting 5 times the power for just 3 times the money, a little over 3 times the money, so per server. So they have huge data centers that they're paying pennies on the dollar for what we would pay for servers or resources. So they're hosting multiple different companies. They're hosting multiple different companies' network connections, VPN connections, web servers, DMZs, all of that. And this isn't like an internet service provider. Don't confuse NaaS with an internet service provider. Our internet service provider is simply who provides us connectivity to the internet. So our internet service provider, Verizon, Comcast, they're going to be who drops us a line and allows us to connect to the internet. And then our NaaS provider is going to provide us with all the network internals. It's like we stripped out our network, we stripped out all our servers, we stripped out all of our data backups and our VPN capabilities, and we put them in a different building, and then just connect to that building with the internet. Except we don't manage that building. Another company manages that building. So if our buyer needs to visit our web server or they need to access some of their data, they don't connect to us, they connect to NaaS, our NaaS. And it's transparent. That when they go to the website, they go to www.ourwebsite.com. www.bobslawnservice.com. They don't go to our NaaS's website. They go to our website, and then it just looks completely transparent for our buyer. So that's how that's how network as a service works. That's what network as a service does for us. And when we're evaluating if we want to utilize network as a service, we need to take our environment into consideration. We need to take our data and what we're using and how much we're using into consideration, into our pros and cons, and when we're determining if we want to utilize network as a service or if we want to keep all of that in-house. So thank you for joining us here today at cyber.it. Today we talked about different virtual network components, everything from virtual servers and virtual switches to network as a service and different virtual PBXs. So hopefully this information will help you to better evaluate your networks and determine what virtual appliances may be useful in your situation, whether network as a service would be a good thing to consider for your environment, or whether virtualizing some of your servers will be useful and will be more cost effective in your environment. So take all these considerations into effect, take this knowledge and apply it to your own networks, and hopefully we'll see you here next time on cyber.it.